Om Sadashivasamaramabham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Okay, so we are seeing third chapter. I think we did verse 6 or something. Yeah. So we saw the 6th verse last time, how the person who was refraining from doing anything, but he is fantasizing about everything that he wants, how such a person is considered a hypocrite. Okay? All that we saw last time. Okay? And so basically what he is saying is, if you look at the Gita, Krishna is always against a hasty sannyasa. Yeah. Because to grow, you need a field of endeavor. Okay? You need a field of endeavor. You need to interact with things, people, situations, challenges of day-to-day living, achievements, jobs, relationships, multiple dimensions, taking care of your priorities, etc. If sannyasa is taken too early, before you are ready, you are cutting down the field. The field of endeavor is being cut down. So your chances for growth are being shrunk. I have seen in matas, etc., where they take youngsters and initiate them and then groom them to become. Half the time it doesn't work. Half the time it doesn't work because as their personalities emerges, priorities and things emerge, this is not what we want. Because if a 10-year-old is walking off to become a monk, on what are you going to base the decision? It's just 10. He may show some religious interest because of some previous samskaras, but there may be a lot of other things within him which has not yet emerged. So, that's type of way. Even as an adult, have you taken care of all your personality, of your priorities? That's important. Yeah. That's why I gave you a few examples from the people whom I know, where a hasty sannyasa has not worked. Okay. Sannyasa, when you are ready for it, it's a great thing. It's a royal marga. But if you are not ready, okay, supposing someone takes sannyasa early, can the person mature in the whole thing? And you can. But it takes a lot of struggle, lot of time, effort, struggle. Okay. And the person may have a certain amount of, I don't know whether I should use the word naivety in terms of dealing with the world. Okay. Because you are not seen enough shades of grey. The world is full of grey, not black and white. So the tendency to look at things in black and white may be there high. Yeah. Not being able to relate to the modern situation, a contemporary situation. Those type of issues will still be there even if you mature out. Yeah. Okay. So that's why Krishna is, up to now, he has this thing of against a hasty sannyasa. Then he gives you the flip side, what can be done. He says, any questions up to here, or it's all clear? Up to the 6th verse, 3rd chapter. Okay. Yastu indriyani manasa niyamyarabhate arjuna karmendriyer karma yogam asaktaha savishishyate. Yastu, whereas on the other hand, yaha, that person, manasa niyamya, with your mind under your hold. Why? You are not now chasing, running around like a headless chicken. No. You got your priorities set, you have understood what you are meant to do in life. You are keeping moksha as the ultimate priority. Long term, it's okay, it is there. And he says, therefore, manasa samyamya, or manasa niyamya, arabhate Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, he arabhate, he starts what? Karmendriyai karma yogam. A life of action with the karma yoga spirit. And he starts with the karma yoga spirit. Asaktaha san. Asaktaha. He is not really bound by the situations. Asaktaha. Very, very peculiar. Remember this. Why will you act? You act because you want the result, isn't it? But we are sensible people. It's a result-oriented function, okay? If I don't want the result, I might as well not waste my time and effort in doing something. Yeah. Therefore, I want the result. At the same time, I recognize that what is in my hand is only the actions. This is a result taken care of by the universal laws, which are nothing but Ishvara's manifestation. This I understand in my understanding of Ishvara. Therefore, with that understanding, when I function, I can take success and failure in my stride. Hey, this is what I did. Result, prasada from the Lord. Yeah. Prasada from the Lord. So I accept whatever is there. Then I decide whether I want to do something else or what. So, to an extent, I have this asangatva. I am not tied down by what I want. Otherwise, the question of, I want it now, and I want it my way. Yeah. I want it, and I want it now. Arey Baba, some things take time. No, I want it now. And I want it my way also, it's on top of it. Yeah. So, it doesn't work. And are you sure you want it? That's also important, okay? Be careful what you pray for. Your prayers may be answered. Yeah. Therefore, a person who is willing to accept the result as prasada, good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is, prasada from the Lord, this is what it is. My action was my worship. The result is prasada. Accept. Then what? Then look at what you have got. Deal with it in a practical manner. Decide whether it's worth more effort or it's fine as it is. And go ahead with your life. Therefore, to an extent, you are not victimized by your own desires or the result of that action. Why should this happen to me? Happen there. It's okay. Why should it not happen? Why me? Why not you? What do you mean, why me? Why not you? Give me one reason. Why me you want to know? I will tell you why you. If you answer the question, why not you? Can you answer that? Why not you? So there are really no answers to all that. Therefore, you do what you can and you go ahead. Asaktaha san. Because the moment I say I am willing to accept the result as prasada, I have become bigger than my desire. Isn't it true? I am willing to accept failure means what? The desire that you have, you are willing to accept non-fulfillment. Yeah. If that is where the Lord wants, I have accepted. I will do everything I can, yeah, but I am willing to accept. What a freedom that gives you. Asaktaha san. The relative asakta. It is not being asakta like in terms of knowledge of the self. No, but relative. It is there. Savishishyate, he says. This person is special. Why? The person grows in the process. There is growth there. You are becoming bigger than your desires. You are fulfilling your priorities. You are developing your competency with every challenge you meet. Yeah. If you get nothing out of an action, the minimum you get is your growth. There are funny stories about this, illustrating these. God appeared to this man in a dream. And he said, there's a big boulder lying there. Every day I want you to push it and try to move it for at least an hour. Every day. So every day he did. At the end of a year, he's asking God, God, the thing has not moved 1 inch. It's so big, it weighs a ton. It's beyond me. I've been pushing and pushing and pushing every day. But it's not moved 1 inch. The Lord laughs and says, look at you. Okay, your back is stronger, chest is stronger, legs are stronger, core is strong. Look at what it has done to you. So the result was not in moving the stone, the result was what happened to you. So that's the minimum you get, your growth. If nothing happens in an action, you get nothing of what you want. Prasada is what? Vibhuti today. Ashes. What else can you do? You went to the temple hoping there is some prasada and they give you some ashes. It's called vibhuti, not ashes, okay? Why? It is the glory of the Lord. So everything is like that, burnt to ashes. Your growth is there. Ultimately, what is it that you are going to take with you at the end of the whole life? What is it that's going to remain with you? Your growth. Things will come, things will go. Houses will come and go. People will come and go. What remains with you? Your growth. Or kya? What you have done, achieved, etc., will be forgotten. In India, there are hundreds of unsung heroes in the last 200 years, 300 years. If you read some of those stories, oh my God, why are we not reading them in history books? They were such great heroes. Unsung. But they grew. Their greatest achievement was their growth in the process. In ancient Japanese culture, they used to celebrate failures. Especially big failures. You tried something huge and big and you failed in it. That was celebrated. Why? One, you had the guts to try something like that. Okay. Second, you have grown in the process. You tried something so big, beyond your means. You tried it. No? not to be embittered by your failures. Prasada buddhi. Big thing it is. Therefore, asaktaha sa vishishyate, it is said. Okay? Sa vishishyate. Therefore what? Therefore here. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayo hi akarmanaha sharire yatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmanaha. Niyatam karma kuru tvam. Do your actions regularly, the regular basis, both your duties, responsibilities, priorities, desires, all of them. Niyatam kuru karma. Karma jyayo hi akarmanaha. Leading a life of action is better than being a lotus eater, inaction. Yeah. Armchair warriors. With social media, more and more of us are becoming armchair warriors. I have been invited and joined so many WhatsApp groups. They all want me there. All of them, they think their responsibilities to the society is over if they put a message on WhatsApp. 50 people are seeing it. All of them are already believing in the same thing. But you are putting it. Hindu society. Arey yaar, instead of wasting time on WhatsApp, do something na. Who is seeing their WhatsApp messages? Your friends, who are all of the same thinking anyway. At least put it up on Twitter or Instagram. Some other characters may see it. Hopefully. No, WhatsApp may. So every week I have to sit down and keep on deleting. All nonsense comes. Okay. Therefore, niyatam kurma karma. Karma jyayo hi akarmanaha. Not only that, sharira yatra pichate na prasaddheda karmanaha. Even for your sharira yatra, meaning to survive, you will have to do some karma. No? Some karma will have to be done. You have to get some food. You have to get some money. Something you have to do for this. Yeah. No jobs available. Okay, start a consulting thing. Do some freelance work. Something you'll have to do. Yeah. If nothing, become a social influencer. I mean, options are there in today's world. But something or the other you'll have to do. I don't want a regular 9-to-5 job. So what are you going to do? I'm going to start my own business. Good for you. It's no more going to be 9-to-5. It's going to be 10-to-10. And 7 days a week. No holidays, nothing. Okay, go. Kar lo, acha hi hai. So even for your sharira yatra, to live, you have to do something. Oh, suddenly a thought is coming into my mind. From where these thoughts come, sometimes I don't know. There was an old movie called Hathi Mere Sathi. Old timers here may remember that. So this person was a rich man's son, and the father dies, and now he is thrown into the world. And then he suddenly discovers, "Is duniya mein rehna hai to kaam kar bete," or something like that. The song goes. Correct? Yeah. But Swamiji, what about when you are living as a sadhu? Bhiksha par jana padta tha na? It requires a lot of self-esteem to go on a bhiksha, okay? To go and take bhiksha, it takes a lot of self-esteem. Why you have been reduced? If you feel beggarly, you are finished. If you feel superior, hey, I am not a beggar, I am a Mahatma asking for bhiksha, you are finished. Ahankara. Both ways you are gone. So even then, that much activity you have to do. And you'll go to the kshetra. There also you need prasada buddhi. To eat the dal roti, you really need prasada buddhi. Lots of it. And there will be days when everything is over, food is over. कुछ नहीं है महाराज जी, बंद हो गया सब. अच्छा, प्रसादा, आज तो एकादशी मनाना है. टुडे इज एकादशी फॉर यू. समझे, आज चतुर्थी है, डजंट मैटर, आज एकादशी है मेरे, बिकॉज नो फूड एनीवे. यू आर सपोज्ड टू फास्ट ऑन एकादशी ना, ठीक है, टुडे इज एकादशी. प्रसाद बुद्धि. इवन एज अ साधु वी आर लिविंग, यू नीड दैट. You need more, not less. Okay? You need more, not less. At least as a karma yogi, you are doing something. A lot of action is going to get what you want. Yeah. But if you meet repeated so-called failures, that can affect your self-esteem. But not if you are a karma yogi. Because every failure will be a learning experience. What is the learning here? What am I doing off? Why is it not working out? It is that prasada buddhi that gives you that learning mind. Why? Your mind is not agitated, this, that, you are not self-judging, etc. You are looking at facts and this is it. What is going wrong here? Yeah. So, karma kurutvam, that's his Krishna's advice. But karma is binding, yaar. I get caught up, it become nonsensical. Karma, punya papa, janma, this, that, karma phala, janma is there, all that nonsense is there. Kya karu? So he gives you this thing for that also. Yajnarthat karmono nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samacharaha. Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. It is true. This world of ours is bound by action. Whatever you want to get in this world, you have to do something. And when you do something, you get something. Like I remember in my camps on principles for living, I had conducted a camp once like that. So one of the principles was life rewards action. What else is life reward? Tell me. You are the greatest teacher in the world, but you are not taking a single class. Will students come to you? You are the greatest manager in the world, but you are not working anywhere. Who will know you? See, if you want to get something, you need to do something. Therefore, this world is karma bandhan, bound by karma. And if you do karma, there are consequences for it. Karma, karma phala, this, that, you can't escape that also. You can't say, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So look at it both ways. You want something, you have to do something. And if you do something, there are consequences for it. So you're caught up. Either way, there is nothing you can do about it. He says, which karma? Yajnartham anyan. Other than that which is done for a yajna. Swamiji, what is this? We all have to do yagas now, what, bedke, in front of the fire. I don't even know how to do it. The yajna, your life is a yajna. Later on he elaborates it. What is a yaga? Ancient worships were a yajna. You know, before Mahabharata, there were hardly any temples. All temples in India came from the Mahabharata time onward, from the Pauranic period onwards. Okay. Because temple worship, what you call is Murti Puja, invoking the Lord in a Murti, all that is the Puranic period worship. Vyasa is attributed to have written all the Puranas. So, it's from Mahabharata times. That can be anywhere between 3000 BC to 5000 BC or even older. We don't know for sure. Minimum, this is the range. Okay. Though excavations of Dwaraka, etc., pushes back the dates to 7000 years ago. There's more than 5000 BC. When you're dealing with Indian civilization, the dates are haywire, because it's so ancient, it's a haywire. So before that, so at the time of Krishna and everything, all worship was a yaga. Okay? All worship was it's Vedic. Worship was Vedic. So you will have a Havan Kund prepared. Agni is invoked. The Devata is invoked in the fire. And you will offer the offerings to the fire. And what is left behind is taken as prasada by the people. Therefore, yajnartham means unless you are doing it as a worship. So in the world, how does it become a worship? Your actions are your offerings. Ishvara arpanam. Karmaha Ishvara arpanam. Your karma is offered to the Lord. In the beginning, it may be a conscious statement that you make. I am offering my actions to the Lord. This is it. And if your work is your worship, result is prasada. Later on, as you understand Ishvara more and more, I said Ishvara is the whole social order, the whole universal order is Ishvara. Ishvara is manifest as the order in the universe. Order means what? The principles which govern every function. Gravity is a principle which has got certain laws derived from the principle. Gravity is what? Akarshanam. The force of attraction between two bodies is gravity. Okay. Then that is governed by certain laws. Directly proportional to the masses, inversely proportional to the square of the distances between them, all that will come. Now that is a law coming in. Then you will measure it on earth, another law. So laws are derivatives from principles. And the whole principle of the order that is there is Ishvara's manifestation. That I am sitting here in my room, the Lord of all I survey, and talking, and you all are hearing it. Some of you a few thousand miles away, some of you a few minutes away, some of you a few thousand miles away. You all are hearing it. In different continents, from UK, from Australia, they are hearing. There is a certain order behind this, no? Which we have discovered and applied. The principles of communication, telecommunication, the whole issue of convergence that has come into a laptop or a phone. All these principles are Ishvara's manifestation. Therefore, anything that you do is a possibility in Ishvara. The more you appreciate this, the more Ishvara Arpanam is natural. What can I do? Nothing without Ishvara. In some ways, this has been expressed in other religions also. Okay. Not a bird shall fall unless he wills it. Christ telling his disciples. Not a bird shall fall unless he will. Oh, you mean to say God says, oh, you fall there, that bird there will. Oh, the principles at work. Remember, for us, Ishvara is Ananta Shayana, Padmanabha Swami temple. Okay. Ananta Shayana. He is relaxed, lying down. Why? He has set up the order. He is manifest as the order. Now, chalo, everything will happen by its own. I don't have to go and say this. Karma phala will take over. My order is taking over. It's all in perfect harmony, its function. Everything is not in harmony, there is disharmony. Men create disharmony. That's also part of the order. How do you recognize an order if there is no disharmony? How are you recognizing disharmony if there is no order? Unless you have a sense of order, you can't say it is disorderly. No, Swamiji, creation, in the beginning it was all chaos. Huh? Chaos? You already have an idea of order. That's why you're saying it is all chaotic. Ishvara's man. The more you understand this, the more your Ishvara Arpanam will become natural. Yeah. Otherwise, you may have to, until you understand that well enough, is a little bit conscious thought that, okay, Ishvara Arpanam, I offer this. Lord, this is for you. Actually, I wanted, but this action is for you. Okay. Lord understands. Revade. Let it be. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So, Yajnartham, that is Yajnartham. And result, of course, Prasada. So, no issues. Good, the bad, the ugly. मंदिर में गया, क्या मिला? लड्डू मिला. आज ग्रेट फन. आज क्या मिला? व्हाट अ नाइस फ्लावर. क्या करेगा? We men getting flowers, what we do? I have a very simple way of dealing with that. I look around, there's a pretty girl around. Here, prasad for you. Thank you, Swamiji. Good. She is happy, I am happy. What will I do with that flower? Today what you got? Ashes. Vibhuti is a prasad today. Meaning what? Everything that you have done has gone down the drain. Nothing has worked out. Like a work. Vibhuti, glory of the Lord. Because it's all in harmony with the order. Your karma, your past karma, everything is there in the picture, and this is the result. Your karma, your other people's karma, the matrix of karma that is happening, your own past karma, many lifetimes, all that together has shaped what you are getting today. Yeah. So, yajnartham karmana, okay? Therefore, if you take it like this, then all these hassles are not there for you, he says. Ishvara arpanam prasada buddhi, aur kya? Karma phala, renadeva, prasada. Good, bad, ugly, prasada, no issues. It's a buddhi, it's an attitude. Karma yoga is not a yoga of action. It's a yoga of an attitude towards action. It is not freedom from action. It is freedom in action. Yeah. So with that you go ahead. It says, other than this, of course, you feel bound by karma. He says, therefore, tadartham karma kaunteya. Therefore, hey kaunteya, kunti putra, yajnartham karma. Okay? Yajnartham karma. Mukta sangha samachara. Without emotional dependency. Mukta sangha here means without that emotional dependency. Samachara, take to it. Yeah. Swamiji, what about emotional dependency? Doesn't that happen? Yeah, but your prasada buddhi itself takes care of it. No? I want it. Yeah, I want it. But I am willing to accept failure. Swamiji, how can you accept failure? It is dropped in your lap. What can you do about it? Reject it. It is your baby. It has not worked out. More than corporate work, people should do some social work, NGO work. How much you have to struggle to achieve something. And the very people whose life you are bettering will work against you on that. because the resistance to change is very high. Yeah. Therefore, mukta sangaha samachara. Work. You'll grow. You'll achieve. Some of your desires you will fulfill. Some of them will not get fulfilled. That's life anyway, isn't it? I think every desire is fulfilled. Every desire is not going to be fulfilled. In fact, if you look at your life, from the time you can remember, childhood onwards, you think all your desires are fulfilled? Most of them were not. No? You wanted another chocolate, Mama said no, from there onwards. You wanted another laddu for Diwali, Mama said no, you have eaten 2, that's more than enough. Okay. You wanted to play for some more time, Mom said no, time, come home. Have a wash, time for dinner. You want to spend some more time on the phone. Mama said, no, enough of screen time. Go, sleep. Read something. Read. School में भी reading करने पड़ते, इधर भी reading करने पड़ते. All the time it was like this. And some of them didn't matter. It doesn't tell me all those unfulfilled desires that you have in your past. How many of them really matter? 1 or 2 you may say, nah, I would like to try that. Really? Go, try it out. Don't blame your mama. Like I had this kid in my workshop. Kid meaning she just started working, finished her studies and started working. Very upset with past. My mom never allowed me to learn swimming. I really had a difficult child. That I really hold against her. I said, she didn't allow you to. So what's preventing you from learning swimming now? You join a club and learn. Now you're working, you're independent. What is preventing you? Oh, now it is too late. At 22, too late to learn swimming? What is this? You just like to play victim, that's all. This is liking to play victim. You don't want to do anything about it, you just want to blame mama or whoever. Blame somebody or the other, then you can abdicate responsibility. Karma Yoga is about taking responsibility. What do you want to do? Because who's in charge of your life? You are. Who else is in charge? Don't say my in-laws are in charge of my life. Okay, they are not. Some of you don't know my in-laws. Don't worry, I've seen them all. Make them outlaws, problem solved. But so there are other consequences. There are always consequences. Their refusal to accept consequences is what keeps us bogged down. Yeah, do something, consequences are yours. Can't avoid that. Welcome it. If the consequences are good, I welcome it. If they're bad, also remember, laddu and ashes. Idna hi farak hai. Prasada. Whether you got laddu or whether you got vibhuti. Prasada. So, now if you look at it, this Karma Yoga Buddhi involves some bhakti, isn't it? A very mature, different type of bhakti. Not this just lola, 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 singing, that type of bhakti. It requires a mature bhakti. Yeah. I mean, I'm not against bhajan singing, okay? That's also bhakti. Yeah, but this requires a bit more than that. Yeah, because I'm out in the world doing things. I am a participant in the Lord's creation. This is the Karma Yoga attitudes, okay? I'm citing you all the nuances now. I am not just an observer of creation. Why? If you are meant only to be an observer, God would have made you as a big blob head, that's all. All the sense organs put there, observe. But He gave you hands and legs. You are supposed to be a participant. Play the game. Play the game. So many here, chances of success are very poor. So what? In the Lord's plan, if you are supposed to fail and you failed, are you successful or unsuccessful? And if in the Lord's plan you are meant to fail and you succeeded, are you successful or are you a failure? Samji, is that possible? A Lord's plan is like a matrix. You can push and pull and change, it's up to you. He has given you the freedom of action, empowered you. That is the whole game of Karma Yoga. Okay? There is a certain amount of, it's a great amount of devotion involved in it. Okay? Therefore, the more bhakti you have, the more better Karma Yogi you become. Now, what is bhakti? Bhakti is an emotion. An emotion is a result of an understanding or of a pattern of thinking. Thoughts create feelings. Understanding creates feeling. Understanding is a thought, creates the feeling. Therefore, the better understanding you have of Ishvara, the better bhakti you will have, the more mature bhakti you will have. I don't know whether it is there on my website, that 6-7 stages of understanding Ishvara. From being a victim and being scared of Ishvara onwards to the mature understanding of what Ishvara is. Yeah. I have done this in a couple of camps, I have done that. Yeah. So, the more mature your understanding is, more mature your bhakti is. Yeah. You don't have to be God-fearing. Okay? The God-fearing, we leave it in the Old Testament. To all the Abrahamic religions, we will leave it for them. Okay. We are a mature civilization. Yeah. We understand Ishvara is a cosmic order of things. Yeah. And then we become participants in their creation. Yeah. In the Lord's plan for the universe, we are participants. Succeed or fail, look at what it does to your feeling, your self-esteem. I am participant in the Lord's work. It's very different from saying I am the chosen few. Chosen few is an arrogance. When you say we are the chosen few, there is an arrogance coming in. No. The whole thing is creation and Lord's unfoldment of things, and I am a participant there. There is a humility and there is a self-esteem simultaneously. So if you are a Karma Yogi, you will have all these things in your mind, okay? Okay. So Karma Yoga is not a small thing, okay? It has got all these nuances. Therefore, how will you develop all this? By living a life of Karma Yoga. How else will it come? How else will it come? Yeah. Get into life. Life is not a spectator sport. Get involved. Get things done. Otherwise, it's like expecting to build a great physique by watching all those exercise videos. I know every exercise that is there. I know all about exercising. Overloading, all that I know. Step by step, everything I know. Everything about nutrition, everything I know. Okay, what are you doing? Nothing. So what will you be? A couch potato, a blob in front of your phone. Okay. Go and work. Because life is not a spectator sport. If you have to grow in life, get involved. There's no other way. Okay. Therefore, Mukta Sangha Samachara. Okay. All right. Then he is introducing this whole idea of the yajna very nicely here. Okay. Saha yajna praja srishtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasivishyadvam eshavo astu ishta kamaduk. Prajapatihi Puravacha. Prajapati, the creator. Ishvara as the creator now. Okay? Ishvara has many manifestations. One is creator. Because the source of everything has to be from Ishvara only. Can't be from anything else. Therefore, having created the universe, all the people, along with the yajna, he says. Because yajna is Vedic. See, a puja has been put together by human beings. Okay, Vyasa and all. In the spirit of the yajna. But the yajna is the original, the source. It is Vedic and the Vedas have come from Ishvara. Don't ask me how Ishvara revealed it. If Ishvara has to reveal, he can reveal in 100 different ways. What is the evidence for it? Internal evidence. The Veda itself says, I have been revealed by Ishvara. Okay. All right. Therefore, he says, Saha Yajna, the Praja, the people, he created along with the Yajna, he says. And he said right in the beginning, what did he say? I am giving you a Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu is the cow that fulfills all your wishes. You want something? Vasishta had it. A great Rishi, Vasishta, one of the original Rishis, he had that. Oh, the king has come. So he'll go to the cow and say, Amma, food and drink for all of them. Whole army, food and drink provided. So he says for the people also he gave a Kamadhenu. What is that? He says, Anena prasavishedvam. By this yajna, may you achieve whatever you want. Let this be your wish fulfilling cow. How? Hey, yajna involves karma, action. As I said earlier, what you want to achieve only by actions in this world. No? So you have worldly actions. Not enough. My luck is not with me. Okay? Add the yajna to it, worship to it. The worship, there are enough. If you look at the Vedic worships, oh my God, you'll be surprised what all is available there for what all things. Not getting married. Oh, no problems. Let me look at your horoscope. Acha, there are some blocks here. Okay? So this block is because of your luck, etc. Let's do a Navagraha Shanti. Okay. It's all worked out. No, the block is because of something else. Let's do a Swayamvara Parvati Homa. What you choose will depend on all these, okay? Yeah, things are working out. Okay. Somebody married for 10 years, not had a child. Are you sure you want to have a child? I must be sure of that. Okay? Sure you want to have a child? Yeah. No problems. Santana Gopala Homa. So I want to get out of this marriage. I'm stuck. I can't see a way out of it. No problems. For that also there is a Homa. I'm not joking. I got it done for someone. It's been a very difficult situation. There also there is a solution. Yeah. Dhana bhavena kilbisham. No money, I'm struggling. No. For that also there is something. Lakshmi Kubera Homa. समझो, my enemies are hitting my head up. Don't worry. Shatru Samhara. Yeah. You tell me what you want. I am only giving you half a dozen samples. There are thousands. Some you are qualified to do, some you may not be qualified to do. That's also there. Yeah. Samjho, I want to be emperor. First be a king. After you become a king, we'll do a Vajpaya. After a Vajpaya, we'll do a Rajasuya. After Rajasuya, if you're still good enough, we'll do an Ashwamedha. Why? Emperor you want to become? First be a king first. At least be a local chieftain. Chief Minister, Prime Minister, etc. not valid, okay? King. So, there's nobody in India who can do a Rajasuya now, no? You heard the surname Bajpayee, in North Indian surname? His ancestors had done a Vajpayee Yajna. That's why he's called that surname. Vajpayee. Samjhi, what all homas can you do? Nothing. I'm a monk, I've given it all up. I'm a sannyasi. I've given it all up. So, the yajna is not meant to replace your physical karma. It's supposed to enhance your karma. Understand this well. Otherwise, my old story stands, okay? This man, very poor man, he goes to the temple and prays, "Oh Lord, I'm so poor, I'm a good person. I have been doing good to for my family, my friend. Wherever I can help people, I have been helping, but I am so poor. So, Lord, I decided, by work alone it is not happening. This month's lottery, let me get that lottery, win that lottery. My life will be made." Month came and went, nothing happened. Second month, nothing happened. Then recently, "Lord, Diwali bumper, 10 crores. Please, let me win that. Give me a break, oh Lord." And suddenly a voice was heard. Akashavani. "Idiot, give me a break. At least go and buy that blooming ticket." Without buying a lottery ticket, is praying for the Lord to get a lottery. ये कैसा हो सकता है? Minimum karma necessary. Now don't go about saying, Swamiji is saying buy lottery tickets. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is minimum action necessary. No? If you act, you're opening up a way for the luck to flow in. Then all the other things will help. All the other things will help. Therefore, here, as a Kamadhenu, take it, he says. Yeah, you're there. Prayer, worship. Yeah. Why? Because there are 100 things in your life, past karma, etc., that you don't know anything about. How do you take care of these things? Modern days will say, keep your fingers crossed. Correct? Modern days will say, keep your fingers crossed. We say, no, don't keep your fingers crossed. Fold your hands together and say a prayer. Why? Because prayer is karma. This karma will enhance your other karma. It's all karma phala. Asking for the Lord's grace is part of, it's a karma, for which karma phalam will be there. So the yajna, etc., they are esoteric karmas. Don't ask me for scientific reasons. Samjhi, what is the result that is visible and scientifically proved in a yaga? Scientifically proved, you get a lot of ashes. Because science goes only by perceptual details. Go pick up all the ashes. Go. But I've seen it working again and again and again. Yeah. In my life and the life of people whom I know. Yeah. Amazing. And that's why I always warn people, be careful what you pray for. Your prayers will be answered. This person prayed for a job. got a job. High stress, high income, high stress, problematic bosses. You prayed for it, you got it. I don't want this. Okay, don't take it. That's also fine. But this is how it is. Okay. So that worship becomes part of Karma Yoga. The worship can be simple. Hey, I don't know how to do an elaborate worship. I can only light the lamp and say, okay, salam. Good enough. Start with that. Acknowledge the role of Ishvara in your life. Good enough. No, I can do an elaborate. Good enough. Whatever you can, yatha shakti, in keeping with what you are capable of, what you want, you have the freedom of choice. Do it. Yeah. Why? Because you could all do it with a wee bit of luck, isn't it? You could all do with a wee bit of luck. Oh, Swamiji, what wee bit of luck? I want a ton of luck. Exactly. Swamiji, I want to get out of this whole game and gain moksha directly. It requires a lot of luck. Why? First of all, finding the right teacher, right setup, being there, having the circumstances to be a full-time student. Oh my God. You think this is easy? It's a lot of struggle. Okay. You see the end product. Wow, it's so nice. Now what about all the thing that has gone behind? Because we don't know the past, we don't know the struggles, we tend to put the person on a pedestal. But the struggle that made the person, no? Good to know a bit of that also. Yeah. All the blunders the character did. Because how do you become a wise person? By gaining wisdom. If you get wisdom, then you will make all the right decisions in life. So how do you know how to make the right decision? By making all the wrong decisions in life. You get your wisdom by all the wrong decisions. Yeah. So, Karma Yoga involves that little bit of that yajna, the worship also. Okay. There is more to it, but yeah. 3-4 verses dealing with the yajna, that we will see next class. Okay. Good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.